I want to talk about the Transfiguration. In the Bible, I remember reading that Jesus changed form into a more glorious form. And think about whatever it is in your life that has changed form. Maybe it's a relationship that's changed form where you find peace, not if that person's next to you, but if that person's next to God. And so wherever that person is, always remember and think back to the more glorious time. And here's why. Because when the apostles ascended the high mount of glory with Christ and they saw his glory and he changed form into a more glorious form, that was in preparation for ascending the high mount of Calvary, that they would have something to hold on to in the upper room and realize that's where they were. They were in the upper room. They didn't have great faith, but they held on to the more glorious times. And so that's what I'm asking you to do, is to hold on to the more glorious times. When a ship is in a storm, as the saying goes, it can't change its route because the clouds are in the way of the stars, but it has to keep on going. And so what I'm asking you to do is to keep on going. And when the storm passes, you can correct your route. But what do? You change not your plans, but your prayers. For we are sinking by our struggles when we could be floating by our faith. And so what I want you to remember always in a storm is the more glorious times. And what I want you to focus on is prayer. And realize also that the most important thing you could do is what you do in the storm. And the reason why is simple. If you read the Bible often, you'll see that God, our God, is a God that delivers not from suffering, but through suffering. A good example of this would be the story of the King of Dreams, Joseph, the King of Dreams. His brothers get mad at him and jealous of him because he has this glorious, I guess you could say, dream that transcended the situation that he was in. Like, it was so much better, his dream, and than what his brothers were going through, I guess. And it's very obvious, a really well-known story. And so the brothers ended up putting him in a jail, That must have been tough because he had this dream, right? This vision, right? Of something so glorious, something so profound, something so beautiful. People persecuted him for it, right? Not only that, his family. And he was in a jail cell. And so if you're in a jail cell and you need hope, you need faith, remember the more glorious time, remember the dream, but also realize that what you do in that jail cell is what will define you outside of that jail cell. For him, he did the Lord's will in the jail cell, and that was shedding light on the meaning of other people's dreams. Now, maybe you can't do that, but you can certainly shed light on your own dream through doing the Lord's will. And that will define, as it did for him, a man, it defined what he did in the jail cell, defined his role outside of the jail cell, and realized the value then in the jail cell, because he had to wear chains of iron around his feet before he could wear chains of gold around his neck. So also take into consideration another example in the Bible with the good thief. The good thief didn't see himself as a part of Christ's crowd because they were both dying, Christ and the good thief, and he said, remember me. In other words, I don't think we're going to be in the same place. And this is probably in part due to the fact that maybe when it was Palm Sunday and everybody was throwing palms at Christ's feet, he was out stealing, so he never felt like he was a part of Christ's crowd, but he still turned to him on the cross. And Christ said to him, on this day you will be with me in paradise. So what I'm saying to you is, if you can bear your cross and turn to God in it and not ask God to deliver you from it, through it, you will find paradise.